That simple, beautiful melody is a piece called Black is the Colour of My True Love's Hair. And I became obsessed with it after listening to Alfred Deller's fabulous recording with Desmond Dupre of English folk songs. And so I use this as a tool to help me develop certain fundamental things which are vital to any player, whether you're a beginner or whether you're a concert guitarist. And the one I'd like to focus on today is the moment of strike. So this is critical. A touch too long on the string and you get a kind of click, and then the next note is stopped and you get this kind of as the next finger comes through. Now for a concert guitarist that should be obvious, but all I would say is that unless you pay attention to the precision of the strike in simple pieces like this, over time you can become sloppy, and I hear it in players of very great quality, and I can recognise it in myself. If I don't keep this practice up, the precision, that moment of going through the string has to be absolutely pristine. So, and you can hear it in slow motion. That allows me to really practice spending as little time as possible on the string that I'm striking in the right hand. Absolutely vital. So Pablo Casals, so story has it, would start his practice with an open string to a fretted note, because there is a fundamental difference between the quality of an open string, one that's not fretted, and the moment when you start to shorten the string length by putting the left hand down and stopping the string. And I think these kind of exercises are absolutely key. If you're going to play a tremolo, you can hear it there, there's a slight click. My hands are quite cold, but there it is. It's all the same stuff. If you want to have a clear and fluid tremolo and not get the gallops, it's all about the precision of that moment of strike. So, from the top here, really listening to see if you can reduce as much the nail sound if you're playing with nails. And the other thing to think about when you're practicing this kind of precise way of being is how you put the power into the string. So I'm not going to go into here the differences between apoyando and tirando. I'm just going to assume that viewers know that. But how you use your mind, the intention, where you envisage the power of the strike going is absolutely key to getting a good sound. So I'm not plucking the string, I'm not pulling the string parallel, I'm actually making a small circle with my finger. And if you imagine that the bottom of the circle, the moment the finger comes through the bottom of the circle, there is a slight inward impetus to the strike. So it's almost as if I'm actually pushing the string into the body of the guitar. And if I do that with length, so my mind is now going into the back of my arm and imagining that I can move the fascia along the back of the arm, and that as I lengthen, that kind of leaves the finger no room to do anything but to strike. So it's not a contractive force, it's not kind of squeezing, it's not pulling in, it's a lengthening through the back, and then the power of the strike is directed in towards the body of the guitar. And that will give you the best sound possible. You hear there I bulged slightly. That's what you don't want to happen. Because this piece contains a mixture of fretted notes and open notes, you can very easily end up with this kind of sound, which is absolutely what you don't want. And that takes us into another area, which is about the subtle changes of angle and where you play along the string length. If you watch a great guitarist, you'll see that their hand is constantly moving, not for the sheer hell of it, not just to provide, you know, the tone colour that the guitar has within its capabilities, but to really shape a line. So watch somebody like Julian Bream, for me the master of this, and his hand is constantly, you know, kind of finding new colours. But in the context of this piece, what it's really about is being able to even your tone, and once you can do that, then you can do all sorts of other things. So That's my advice, is find a piece which has this kind of open line, is exposed, forces you to make the guitar sing. Listen to the moment of strike on the string. How pristine can you make that? If you're a concert guitarist, do this practice, because you know and I know that it's that kind of just adds an extra magic when you listen to a player on stage. You can hear it if there is a millimetric um, misuse of timing, and you can feel it as well. So have a go at this. If you're a beginner, then you can use a piece that's relatively simple. It doesn't have to be this one, but you can still achieve the same kind of principles. You can still go for a moment of strike that is pristine, um, and then you'll build a technique which is enviable, and you'll play with great fluidity. And above all, you'll make this beautiful instrument sing, which is what it can do. It might seem odd to say that a plucked instrument can sing, but it certainly can if you go through some of these processes and really pay attention to this kind of technique.